We now have a partial eclipse in the United States of America.
I can see it. It's going in and out of the clouds.
Look how dark it got, right there. Did you see that darkness? It just got really dark. We are close.
Look at that. Oh! Wow. Wow.
The recent total solar eclipse in Texas has left many people shocked and speechless after a large, mysterious object was filmed during the event. Solar eclipses have always been a source of fascination and have often provided new insights into our planet and beyond. However, the presence of this unusual object has sparked numerous questions and speculations among observers. What exactly is this enigmatic object, and what is its connection to the solar eclipse? Join us as we delve into this intriguing phenomenon and explore the possible explanations behind it. The shocking object of the solar eclipse. The captivating spectacle of a total solar eclipse is currently impressing viewers worldwide through a variety of live streams. The rare and breathtaking event of the moon passing in front of the sun is being shown on these live broadcasts around the world. Unidentified images of the bizarre events that took place during the total solar eclipse have begun to surface on social media. Many people travel great distances to witness this amazing show, many of them equipped with cameras and telescopes in an attempt to record the action on camera. The circumstances are ideal for UFO sightings to happen because of the increased curiosity and focus around a total solar eclipse. Because so many people are staring up at the sky, even the smallest irregularity or strange object can draw attention from onlookers and spark rumors about where it came from. Due to people's heightened awareness of their surroundings and propensity to report sightings during an eclipse, there may be a higher number of sightings than usual. This amazing event was captured in countless images and videos that were posted online. One video stood out among the others for a different reason. The internet was shocked to learn that very few people saw a UFO during the eclipse. The object swiftly vanished into the clouds as seen in the video. The event happened in Arlington, Texas. Some people theorized that it was an extraterrestrial spacecraft, while others said it was just an airplane's shadow passing over the clouds during the eclipse. However, on the social media platform called X, a user has shared a video purportedly showing a UFO sighting in Texas on April 8th during the solar eclipse. In the early hours of April 9th, Matt Wallace shared the footage on social media and captioned a new video just surfaced of the UFO spotted over Arlington, Texas during the solar eclipse today, and people are freaking out because it seems to disappear into the clouds. The beginning of the video centers on a partial eclipse, with a shadow that appears and quickly passes by. The footage then pans out, and the same shadow can be seen rapidly turning around and vanishing completely. The term unidentified flying object, UFO, has been replaced more recently by the term unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs. The video has caused a lot of social media users to lose it, and some have attempted to explain it. In one user's explanation of the video in a well-liked response, he said, "It's the shadow on the clouds from a higher altitude airplane. And as an aviation spotter, I have witnessed the scenario numerous times." Someone else gave a more thorough explanation, claiming that the shadow was caused by a plane that was soaring above the clouds. They clarified that because the light source is far away, these shadows are comparable in size to the airplane, and that they vanish when the aircraft moves into clear air. The United States has seen an increase in UFO sightings in recent months, with Arizona ranking among the states with the highest number of reports. Arizona is the state with the highest number of reported sightings, according to data from the National UFO Reporting Center. Arizona accounted for about 5,000 of the roughly 170,000 reports filed since 1974. Ash Ellis, an expert on alien encounters, claims that Wales is the best place in Britain to see UFOs. Ellis states that 323 UFO sightings were reported in Wales in the previous year. A total solar eclipse also offers a rare chance for UFOs to travel through the sky unseen because of the darkness that falls over it. Reduced visibility caused by the moon blocking the sun makes it simpler for objects to avoid detection or pass unnoticed by ground-based observers. This brief darkness may give UFOs more confidence to appear or move around without worrying about being seen or intercepted. In addition, the distinct atmospheric conditions brought about by a total solar eclipse might be a factor in the sky appearance of UFOs. During an eclipse, abrupt changes in humidity, air pressure, and temperature can result in a variety of strange and unpredictable phenomena, including optical illusions, atmospheric disturbances, and mirages that could be mistaken for UFO activity. These atmospheric anomalies might encourage observers' conjecture and confusion even more, which would increase the number of sightings that are reported. It is also important to take into account the potential psychological and emotional effects a total solar eclipse could have on onlookers. Seeing something so extraordinary and unusual can make many people feel a variety of emotions, including fear, excitement, and wonder. These elevated feelings could affect how people see and understand their environment, increasing the likelihood that they will mistake commonplace objects or phenomena for extraterrestrial beings. Many factors contribute to the appearance of more UFO sightings during total solar eclipses, though the precise causes are still unknown. The eclipse's unique atmospheric conditions, psychological impact, and increased interest and attention all combine to create the ideal environment for UFO sightings. Whether these sightings are real encounters with extraterrestrial visitors or just misidentifications of common objects, people all over the world are still fascinated by the mystery and intrigue surrounding UFOs during total solar eclipses. Beginning over land in Mexico, the solar eclipse crossed North America on March 8th and passed through Dallas, Texas, Indianapolis, Cleveland, Buffalo, and the northwest corner of Canada. According to NASA, about 32 million people reside in the path of the total solar eclipse, which is the area where the moon completely obscures the sun. An additional 150 million people are said to live nearby, and 99% of Americans can view a partial or total eclipse from their place of residence. To witness the eclipse in all its splendor, millions of people flocked to the path of the eclipse. However, the UK experienced a different outcome due to continuous cloud cover that ruined any chance of seeing a partial eclipse. The discovery of this weird object has led to several speculations and investigations. So what's the acceptable conclusion about it? The speculations about the unfamiliar objects. Recent photos of the enigmatic object, which some have described as either oval or dish-shaped, were posted to groups looking into odd anomalies. The image has generated a great deal of curiosity and guesses among internet users, igniting conversations and arguments about the characteristics and origin of the unfamiliar object. Some have theorized that these animals could be the reason for the sightings because reports link the emergence of nocturnal animals to the darkness brought on by the total solar eclipse. A user who noticed an odd occurrence while the moon progressively passed over the sun and noted the presence of an unknown object alongside the celestial event, however, does not seem to be persuaded by this theory. These differences in viewpoints suggest that observers' interpretations are different, and doubts about the explanation offered arise. In Texas, there may be some overcast conditions that will make it difficult to see the total solar eclipse. People who are in better positions have had excellent views of this celestial occurrence. Moreover, some observers have reported that they firmly believe they witnessed an unidentified object during the eclipse. In general, individuals occupying strategic positions have been fortunate enough to witness the event firsthand through social media engagement, even though visibility levels have varied across various platforms. Another user mentioned that they were able to quickly take a screenshot of a fascinating object that popped up on the screen when they were watching a live stream. When the person first noticed what he was seeing, his first thought was that it might have been a lighting illusion, or maybe a drone taking more footage of the ongoing incident. But as he studied the image more closely, he gradually concluded that the object it represented was noticeably clearer and more distinct than he had initially thought. This made him take a closer look at the circumstances, since it was impossible to write off the object's unusual characteristics as a coincidence. After some thought, he concluded that the object in question was round, highlighting the fact that he had never seen anything like it before. This realization made him feel curious and intrigued, which made him wonder what the object's significance was. A sizable portion of people presently maintain the viewpoint that some photos have been ignored because they were misidentified. The lack of details that come with these photos when they are posted in real time hasn't stopped people from guessing and creating theories about what these objects might be. People have eagerly speculated and discussed the identities and purposes of the objects captured in the images, despite the lack of specifics. One other person interestingly related their experience, saying that although they had not seen anything noteworthy during this total eclipse, they had experienced an amazing thing during a solar eclipse in the past. NASA suggested that the strange objects seen in the sky could be nocturnal animals in flight during the live stream of the total solar eclipse. Some members of the audience express skepticism in the face of this explanation and offer other explanations for the sightings. These individuals are questioning the validity of NASA's assessment, believing that there may be more to the phenomenon than the mere presence of nocturnal animals amid unfolding events. Apart from this anomaly, there are other observations revealed in the solar eclipse. Are they related? What are they? Other strange findings from the solar eclipse. Thousands of people saw strange red dots around the edge of the sun's disk that were obscured during totality. In-depth images of these dots showed that they were flaming plasma plumes that towered above the surface of our home star, appearing as though they had burst from the sun. Many believe that these solar flares, which are extremely strong explosions, were the cause of the outbursts. But during the total solar eclipse, there were no flares. Later, experts clarified that what the public was witnessing was a different phenomenon called solar prominences. Despite their seemingly infernal appearance, these features are hot gas eruptions known as plasma, which are composed of electrically charged hydrogen and helium extending beyond the surface of the sun. For weeks at a time, these massive plasma structures that erupt from the sun stay whole and affixed to the solar surface. For several months, solar prominence can be seen flowing along the magnetic field the sun produces. Up to 200,000 miles, or about the distance between Earth and the Moon, can be seen in space between the prominences, that is, roughly 28 times the diameter of our planet. Prominences are not ejected into space. Rather, they are fixed to the photosphere, the lowest layer of the sun's atmosphere. Another captivating phenomenon that transpired in the moments preceding and following the celestial event is the shadow bands. Thin, wavy lines on plain-colored surfaces that alternate between light and dark. They move and undulate parallel to one another. NASA reports that the brightness, movement, and orientation of these bands appear to be connected to the same phenomenon that causes stars to twinkle. Just before the total solar eclipse, sharp-edged light from the solar surface is focused and defocused by turbulent cells of air in the upper atmosphere, which function as lenses. The appearance and movement of shadow bands cannot be predicted in advance because the movement of these atmospheric cells varies randomly between each eclipse and each viewing location. It's fascinating as those shadow bands move and shimmer across the ground. They usually start to show up 1 minute before the sun completely blocks out and continue for a few seconds to several minutes after. Having a plain-colored surface, like a white sheet or concrete pavement, is the best way to view these bands. The effect is most noticeable in places with light-colored surfaces and good visibility. For centuries, observers of eclipses and scientists have been baffled by the appearance of shadow bands. They are still not entirely understood, even though they are not uncommon during a total solar eclipse. According to some theories, the Earth's atmosphere interferes with light waves, causing the shadow bands. Others propose that the Earth's magnetic field is responsible for the bending of light. An amateur astronomer found a small sun-grazer comet near our home star on April 8th, just hours before the total solar eclipse. The newly discovered object was captured on camera during totality and then vanished into thin air later that day. A tiny sun-grazer comet was found, captured on camera, and destroyed in a single day during the most recent total solar eclipse. According to experts, this is one of the rare occasions when a comet has been seen during an eclipse. Spaceweather.com reported that Warchati Boonplod, an amateur astronomer based in Thailand, saw a faint disruption picked up by the coronagraph on NASA's Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, SOHO, in the hours preceding the eclipse, which led him to discover a small comet near the sun. SOHO 5008 is the name of the comet. Later on the social media platform X, Carl Batoms, the head of NASA's Sun-Grazing Comets project and an astrophysicist and computational scientist at the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory in Washington, D.C., predicted that the tiny comet might be visible to photographers during the total solar eclipse. Amateur astronomer Lin Zixuan captured a picture of the comet during totality as the moon's shadow moved across New Hampshire. According to Batoms on X, ground-based observations of sun-grazing comets are extremely rare and are only achievable during eclipses. However, he added, the comet was not visible with the unaided eye. SOHO 5008 was photographed by several astrophotographers during the eclipses. Astronomers lost sight of SOHO 5008 later that day because, like most sun grazers, it probably broke apart after approaching too closely to the sun. According to spaceweather.com, it is unknown how big the comet was or how close it came to the sun, because of the scant information that scientists were able to gather before the comet was destroyed. The term sungrazer refers to comets that were discovered in the late 1800s and pass within 5 million miles and 8 million kilometers of the Sun, which is approximately 10 times closer than Mercury. According to spaceweather.com, the majority of sungazers are members of the Kreutz group, which is thought to be made up of pieces from a massive comet that exploded some 2,000 years ago. A sungrazer has previously been captured on camera during an eclipse. Photographs of Comet C 2020 X3 SOHO 3524, also discovered by Boonplod, were taken during the December 14, 2020 solar eclipse over Argentina and Chile. According to NASA, experts estimate that this sungrazer, which was seen for a longer time, was about 50 feet and 15 meters wide and moving at 450,000 miles per hour and 725,000 kilometers per hour. It is only possible to observe the planets at night and only with the right knowledge of where to look. However, eclipse watchers had a unique opportunity to see some of the planets during the day, during totality. During the total solar eclipse, Jupiter and Venus were visible to the bare eye, as first anticipated. Both emerged close to the Sun, but cloud cover prevented everyone from seeing them. Only when a planet is close to our home star in the sky can one see it during an eclipse. The majority of eclipse watchers had a longer period of the eclipse, which improved their chances of seeing the planets. Numerous witnesses claim to have seen several points of light surrounding the darkened Sun. Just before and after totality, sunlight can create the phenomenon known as Bailey's beads by shining between mountains on the uneven surface of the Moon. Some people saw a diamond ring, which is a large, bright point that appears as the Moon gets farther away. One might miss all of these happenings if you keep your eclipse glasses on at the time. This recent solar eclipse is not the first to witness mysterious scenarios and unfamiliar objects. Such a phenomenon happened in 1999 before. Let's take a peek. The solar eclipse that revealed UFOs. The solar eclipse of 1999, which captivated millions of people across Europe, also witnessed a peculiar and mysterious event, the sighting of an unidentified flying object in the skies above the United Kingdom. On August 11, 1999, a total solar eclipse with an eclipse magnitude of 1.0286 took place. A solar eclipse happens when the Moon moves in front of the Sun, completely or partially hiding the Sun from view from Earth. When the Moon's apparent diameter is greater than that of the Sun, a total solar eclipse takes place, obstructing all direct sunlight and converting the day into night. The total solar eclipse travels a slender path across the surface of the Earth, and a swath of thousands of kilometers around it is visible. The Moon's shadow started in the Atlantic Ocean and, just before noon, it passed through the northern part of France, Belgium, Luxembourg, southern Germany, Austria, Slovenia, Croatia, Hungary, and the northern region of the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, Vojvodina. At 45.1 degree north and 24.3 degree east in Romania, near the town of Ocnele Mare near Râmnicu Vălcea, the eclipse reached its maximum at 11:03 UTC. It then passed through Bulgaria, the Black Sea, Turkey, the northeastern tip of Syria, northern Iraq, Iran, southern Pakistan, and Srikakulam in India, before ending in the Bay of Bengal. It was the first total eclipse that had been seen in Europe since July 22, 1990, and the first that had been seen in the UK since June 29, 1927. This extraordinary occurrence during one of the most anticipated celestial events of the century left one observer puzzled. As the Moon's shadow swept across the UK during the total solar eclipse, thousands of people gathered in open fields, parks, and public spaces to witness the rare celestial spectacle. Among them were amateur astronomers, sky watchers, and curious onlookers armed with telescopes, cameras, and binoculars, eagerly awaiting the moment when the Moon would completely obscure the Sun and reveal the ethereal corona. As the sky darkened and the temperature dropped, observers gazed upwards, their eyes fixed on the Sun, which appeared as a darkened disk surrounded by a halo of light. Several individuals reported witnessing a silver object moving silently and quickly across the sky during the cosmic display. Witness accounts of the UFO sight Haigtongs during the solar eclipse were authenticated by multiple independent sources, including professional photographers, amateur astronomers, and members of the public, who provided varying descriptions of the object ranging from saucer or dish-shaped craft to triangular or cylindrical objects with flashing lights. Scientists, astronomers, and enthusiasts have been intrigued and confused by the phenomenon of UFO sightings during total solar eclipses for decades. Using spectroscopy, French astronomer Pierre-Jules Janssen discovered a hitherto unidentified component in the sun's atmosphere during an eclipse in India in 1868. The element was named helium by English astronomer Joseph Norman Lockyer, who also independently verified the discovery. We now understand that in the sun's core, hydrogen atoms combine to form helium atoms. This reaction fits neatly with estimates that the solar system is 4.6 billion years old, because it converts a small percentage of mass into energy in an incredibly efficient process. Life on Earth is made possible by the energy that eventually travels from the core outward. With all these intriguing findings, one needs to ask and understand what a total solar eclipse means, its previous happenings, and the results it brings. The fascinating history of total solar eclipse. A total solar eclipse creates a unique and dramatic celestial event that captures the attention of millions of individuals worldwide, casting a shadow on the planet and revealing the sun's corona as the moon passes directly between the Earth and the sun. Solar eclipses happen when the Earth, moon, and sun align, either completely or partially. Eclipses offer a special, fascinating view of the sun or the moon, depending on how they align. When the moon moves in front of the sun and blocks part or all of the sun's light in certain places on Earth, this phenomenon is known as a solar eclipse. Due to the moon's irregular orbit, which is not in the same plane as that of the sun and Earth, this only occurs rarely. Eclipse season, which occurs twice a year, is the period when they coincide. When viewing the sun, observers should always use eclipse glasses or another safe method, like a pinhole projector, unless there are brief moments of totality during a total solar eclipse. This applies to seeing an annular or partial eclipse, as well as before or after a total solar eclipse reaches totality. When the moon moves between the sun and Earth, totally obscuring the sun's face, this is known as a total solar eclipse. A total eclipse will occur for those who are in the center of the moon's shadow when it strikes Earth. It will get darker in the sky, almost like dawn or dusk. If the weather permits, those who are in the path of a total solar eclipse can see the outer atmosphere, or corona, of the sun, which is typically hidden by the bright face of the sun. The only solar eclipse in which spectators are permitted to take off their eclipse glasses, which are not the same as regular sunglasses, for the brief moment during which the moon completely obscures the sun, is a total solar eclipse. There was a total solar eclipse on March 20th, 2015. A solar eclipse happens when the moon moves in front of the sun, completely or partially hiding the sun from view from Earth. When the moon's apparent diameter is greater than the sun's, a total solar eclipse takes place, obstructing all direct sunlight and converting the day into night. A partial solar eclipse can be seen across an area thousands of kilometers wide, as a totality crosses a narrow path across the surface of the Earth. The fact that the path of totality crossed the North Pole makes this total solar eclipse noteworthy. Svalbard and the Faroe Islands were able to witness totality. It was 1.0445 in magnitude. Off the Faroe Islands coast, the longest totality period lasted for 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Up until the eclipse on August 12, 2026, it was the last total solar eclipse that could be seen in Europe. At 8:30 GMT, the solar eclipse started in northwest Europe and proceeded northeastward, but it remained in northern Europe. The regions with the best views of it were the Faroe Islands, Greenland, Iceland, Ireland, the United Kingdom, northern Norway, and Murmansk Oblast. The shadow started moving off Greenland's southern coast. After that, it moved northeast, crossing the UK and Iceland, before crossing the Faroe Islands and Norway's northernmost islands. Over all of Europe, the eclipse's shadow could be seen to varying degrees. For instance, a total solar eclipse was witnessed in the Norwegian Sea, north of the Faroe Islands, while a partial solar eclipse of 86.8% occurred in London. 3 privately owned aircraft soared above the clouds, providing a marginally extended view for the occupants. A partial eclipse was visible at the Metsähovi Radio Observatory in Finland, where the eclipse was monitored at radio frequencies. Meteosat-10, a meteorological satellite, also witnessed the eclipse. On March 8 to 9, 2016, a total solar eclipse occurred at the moon's descending node in its orbit. The eclipse occurred on March 8 local time if viewed from east of the international dateline. For example, from Hawaii, and on March 9th elsewhere. When the moon's apparent diameter exceeds that of the sun and their apparent paths intersect, a total solar eclipse takes place, obstructing all direct sunlight and converting daylight into darkness. The sun appears as though it is surrounded by a halo of black light. A small area thousands of kilometers wide is visible during the partial solar eclipse, which happens along a narrow path across the surface of the Earth. The eclipse that occurred on March 8 to 9, 2016, covered a region of the Pacific Ocean with a magnitude of 1.0450, beginning in the Indian Ocean and ending in the northern Pacific Ocean. This eclipse was the 52nd of the 130th Saros cycle, which started on August 20th, 1059, and will end on October 25th, 2394, with a partial eclipse. Palembang, the biggest city along the eclipse's path, was clouded over by smoke and clouds. But many other parts of Indonesia, including central Sulawesi and Ternate, were able to see the eclipse. Nyepi, an Indonesian public holiday, and the end of the Balinese Saka calendar, fell on the same day as the eclipse. Muslims in Bali needed special permission to attend special prayer services during the eclipse since Nyepi is typically a day of silence. What's your take on the shocking object seen during the solar eclipse above Texas? Leave your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to also like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more related content.